Hey everybody, and welcome to Aniki, the podcast about anime with two brothers. I'm Ben.
Oh, and I'm a Ningyou,
Yes, you are probably a Ningyou.
which doesn't mean dummy. Come on, guys. I mean, I know they mean dummy as in like a puppet dummy, but still, just say doll. Doll works.
That's literally what
How
it
can
means.
you not translate this right? Yes, it means doll. Come on. You could at least say mannequin or something. Or marionette. That's even better.
That
but
would be
dummy,
good, yeah.
that's bad. It's a bad translation.
Which
Why would
translation did you watch? The one on Hulu,
It was
I assume?
Crunchyroll. It was Crunchyroll, but it's just like, what are you doing?
That's really sad.
Ningyou is doll. It's doll. It means doll. Stop it. Granted, doll could be Junku, but I mean, they're definitely not Junku. But
Well, it depends who you ask. I mean, I would probably
it's-
say Junku because I know who listens to this show, but personally,
Okay.
it's not Junku.
it's Junku. I mean, this show isn't Junku, but other shows involving Ningyous could be considered Junku.
Indeed. So, what have you got for us this week in terms of general nonsense?
Yeah, I mean, Mariners don't play today, so you're missing my baseball hour.
Oh no!
Hey, we took a game off the Astros. We whooped them,
Well,
13-3.
that's
I'm
good.
proud of that. I didn't think we would win a single game against them when they came to town, but we at least beat them once.
Well, that's fantastic.
The other two were competitive. You know, that's nice.
I noticed that you tweeted this very exciting announcement that Crunchyroll put out.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Trigger says they're going to announce something. So that's nice.
Not just something, some things.
I did. Oh, announcements, plural. I
Yes,
didn't notice.
New projects
Oh,
at
there you
Anime
go.
Expo,
Nice.
which apparently will have happened by the time this episode goes out.
Oh, there you go. So then we'll know what their mysterious announcements are. I love it when companies put out announcements that they will do announcements. That's always, I don't know.
That's how you do these days.
Yeah, I know. It speaks volumes about modern culture, but I guess it's best not to worry about it too much.
Well, I guess we could sort of try to speculate what in the world they could come up with. Is it going to be a sequel of something, or is it going to be some crazy new IP?
It could literally be anything. They had a show where there was a woman in talking clothes with half a scissor, and they fought. Okay, like I mean, you can't. How could you predict this?
That's a good point.
I mean, okay. Here's wild speculation. Half humanoid penguin girl. No, that's already penguin drum. Nuts. I thought it was gonna be crazy. A sentient crab wants to take over the world and winds up. No, that's just Squid Girl, but with a crab.
And the beginning of One Punch Man.
Oh, that's true. Nuts. You know, there's not much anime can throw at you that's not.
That's true. They're going to have to really dig pretty deep down in that barrel.
It'll be a slice of life. Now, shoot, they did that with Little Witch Academia. Magical Girl. No, they've done that a couple times too. I mean, I literally have no idea. Maybe they'll get in on the Bartender style show.
They haven't done that yet.
They haven't done a Bartender. They could do a Bartender.
I mean, you did like Bartender a lot.
I did like Bartender, and I like this Bartender. So, I mean, Bartender shows are always good.
They are. Let's see. What other anime news is there since last time?
It yet persists
Yes, it does keep persisting.
against all odds. It persists.
What is this?
I don't know. What is that?
Space Girl Luluco. The designer did Kill la Kill and Little Witch Academia sketches.
I mean,
That's
I'm sure that's
adorable.
cute.
This needs to be a
Those
show.
are cute.
I would watch this show.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's cute. But now if you do that, you're going to wander into Tsubasa territory in no time flat.
Ugh, we don't want that.
Or all the Attack on Titan spoof AUs that are running around.
We actually got into a discussion the other day about when exactly Clamp went off the rails.
I mean, honestly, they kind of went off the rails from the beginning. It's just you didn't notice.
I
'cause
mean,
they were
I
making
saw
new
Ayashi no
IPs.
Ceres. They've always been crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could even argue that, like, Cardcaptor Sakura broke, like, all the rules on what you do for a Magical Girl show. But, I mean, Magical Girl, they kind of redefined what it meant to be that. So you didn't quite notice.
That is true.
But you did have a girl that fell in love with her teacher, and then they got married, even though she was, like, a third grader. And it's best not to worry about it too much.
Well, at least it's better than a space jellyfish.
Fell in love with a space jellyfish?
Yeah, you don't
I mean, I
remember
watched that show, too. That show was... what was it called? Fishing Bros is what everybody called it. It was
Oh, yeah.
Tsuritama. Oh, that show's good. I like Tsuritama.
No,
Great art style. Really good opening theme.
So if you want some spoilers to Ayashi no Ceres, which no one should ever watch for any reason, the main girl who's like 14,
Okay.
falls in love
Sure.
with this dude who turns out to
Okay.
be a space jellyfish who
I
impregnates
mean, I like where that's
her
going.
by the end of the
Oh,
show,
see?
and then he goes away back to space because he can't stay with her because it's too dangerous. Never heard that before. But the boy who's been pining after her this whole time.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I think you're just describing the origins of Star-Lord, right?
No, wait, hang on. The boy who's been pining after this girl the whole time is like, well,
Okay.
the other guy's gone and someone needs to be this baby's daddy, and it means I get to be with her, so I'll be with her, even though she hates me. The end. End of the show.
all right.
It's delightful.
Fair enough.
It's the worst. It's the worst show.
In other news, I got Arms. Arms is good.
Arms.
Arms for the Switch. It's the fighting game that's suspiciously like a first-person shooter / flight simulator. It's weird, but it's really fun.
I want to look that up. Switch.
The official lore for the game is the best because there's barely any, and it's hilarious.
So I'm just looking at this picture of a dude with like snake
Yeah,
or pasta
they have
arms.
Yeah, they have spring arms.
And
one
all I
has
can
noodle
think
arms, one has
is,
spring arms, one has ribbon arms.
One Piece.
It is kind of, yeah.
They have rubbery arms.
Yeah, it's a really good game, though. Really good fighting game. It's funny because the official lore is one day a bunch of people woke up with their arms like springs. Some of these people decided to fight to earn a living. We'll add more lore later. That's like the official lore paragraph as per Nintendo.
That's delightful.
It's like, well, all right. At least you're honest.
See, I think we need more of that. It's just our game is ridiculous. The lore is a ridiculous thing happened.
Yeah,
And then there was a
it's
game.
fun. It's a really interesting fighting game because it's all about trying to get to like the outside edge so you can get to the side and punch in with these wicked hooks, and it's really fun. Unfortunately, I've discovered I really like the stupid edgelord character, and now I know what it's like to like main Reaper.
Oh.
And be like, why do I have to be this guy?
They've buffed Reaper recently, and now everyone is playing him.
Is Reaper? I'm sure.
It's sad.
I should get him out since I have the jack-o'-lantern skin for him.
I got the one where he's like a plague doctor. That's kind of fun.
Oh, that's a fun one. I ended up being good with Cobra Kid because he has a good throw. His throw is one of the strongest in the games, and I like throws. So I was like, nuts.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're the edgelord
Now I know what
guy.
it's like.
Is there a picture of?
At least I'm a skater boy.
So you're a Lucio main?
I can throw people. No, Ben.
Yes?
No.
Yes?
Skater boy? I can say see you later, boy?
No, I was trying not to go back to that time period of all of our lives.
Look, come on.
I don't even remember who that was. Was that Avril Lavigne?
Avril Lavigne, before she went bonkers.
Now, the funny thing is we all say she went bonkers, but
Yeah.
more starlets have gone more bonkers since then.
Well, she was kind of the first high profile super bonkers. So,
I suppose so.
what do you do?
What do you do? Good question.
Well, normally we go on for about 30 minutes about this garbage. Is there anything else to talk about? Steam sale's going on. Did you get any like VNs from the Steam sale?
No, but funny story. 2 weeks ago, Humble Bundle sent both me and my wife a email saying, hey, there's some games you should probably check out because we think you'll like them.
Yeah.
And it was a game called Nekopara.
I mean, I'm already for that name. Sounds like Neko Parade. This sounds like that's what's that short for?
I think that is what it's short for. Hang on a second. Let me send you the Steam thing.
Is it going to be terrible?
Oh, boy.
Yes, I love everything about this already.
No, just wait till you click it. Now
It's
remember,
got a little ad. Hold on.
this was for a Humble Bundle.
Yes, please. Nekopara Volume 1. Continue, please. Yeah, I don't need a warning.
No. You have to read this warning because the warning says content in this product may not be appropriate for all ages or appropriate for viewing at work. Here are some frequently applied tags that people have used when describing this product. We have anime, nudity, visual novel, sexual content, education, Illuminati, the normal things.
the normal Steam tags. Steam tags are dumb because they're all user submitted. So, I mean, they're kind of pointless, in all honesty.
Education.
Well, it teaches you Japanese or something. Play. No, now it won't play. I guess I'll just have to view it in the...
Yeah, but we both got this email and we're both very confused. It's like...
A Neko Mimi is speaking Japanese to me, and I am delighted.
Someone actually explained like the setup for this game. Apparently, you
It's got 3D models.
You're a male protagonist, obviously.
Well,
and you move
come on.
house, and when you get to the new house, you open a box, and there are two cat girls inside.
Well, that's nice.
Ta-da!
What are you gonna do with two cat girls?
I don't know, but it sounds like a ridiculous setup for a sitcom.
2 guys, a girl, and a Neko box.
I don't know if there's two other guys. I think it's just you.
Okay.
I don't know.
1 guy, 2 Neko mimis.
2 Neko mimis.
I mean, I guess technically it's 4 Neko mimis if you want to get technical.
Indeed.
Well, I mean that's
you can buy the
that's
entire bundle right now on Steam for $20, and that gets you.
Usually, you can buy entire bundles on Humble Bundle for $0.
That gets you Nekopara volumes 0 through 3.
Ooh,
that's 4 volumes.
That's a lot of volumes.
Yes. I wonder what happens in volume 3.
Oh no, it's short for Neko Paradise, not Parade.
Oh, that's sad.
You can't win them all.
You can't win them all. You were just thinking about parades.
I mean, that's fair. But also just Pada. I mean, there's only so many things it could be short for. It could have been short for Neko Parfait, which would have been nice.
I do think they serve you parfaits.
I'm sure they do.
Why wouldn't
I guess
they?
technically
What else
it'd
would
be
their
Neko
purpose be?
Parfait. Parfait is already 2 syllables, so it's unlikely they would shorten that.
So anyway, speaking of parades and or billiards.
We weren't talking about billiards at all, but that's okay.
Well, but here we are anyway. So yeah, as a reminder, this season of Aniki, we are going through a bunch of one-shot episodes of things, basically series that are just a couple episodes long at most. And for this week, we are doing Death Billiards, which was the Madhouse submission for the Young Animators Training Project back in 2013.
I will say parts of it aren't spectacularly animated, but I mean, it's very good.
The Young Animator Project is basically a bunch of wannabe guys who are coming into the industry, and they basically paired up with a company like the guys that did Little Witch Academia did with Trigger. These guys got paired up with Madhouse, and that's how
Madhouse is good.
Things.
The backgrounds in this show are like phenomenal. Yes. The set pieces are great.
But we did have some feedback.
Oh, did we?
Yes, we did. Due to that feedback, you can consider this your spoiler warning, because apparently the middle, hey, we're actually doing an episode now, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, okay. No, fair enough.
Spoiler warning, we are going to spoil everything about Death Billiards.
I mean, that's fair. Usually these show-by-show recap sort of podcasts have that as an understood, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, well, we're explicitly saying it now, so there you go.
All right. Spoilers. Do you just want to edit in the doctor's wife just saying spoilers?
I mean, I could.
Or is that like super trite and overdone?
Spoilers.
It's too bad I can't just put like an animated GIF into a podcast.
We could try. We could painstakingly describe the animated GIF.
That is true. I'm going to refrain though.
It would be a good bit.
So yeah, this whole show is very atmospheric. It's very, how would you describe it? Like suspense.
Like Bartender. Oh yeah. It's all personal drama and suspense. Yeah.
It is Bartender, except something actually happens.
Hey, things happen in Bartender.
Yes, but in Bartender,
your life has changed.
People's lives change for the better, usually.
Generally, yeah.
And in Death Billiards, that is not necessarily the case at all.
I mean, you get to see the innermost workings of their dark and tormented soul.
True.
I mean, it's kind of the same.
So we begin Death Billiards with an elevator.
Yeah, with an elevator cord, to be very specific. Cable, I guess. I wonder if it's an Otis.
I don't think so. I think it's a.
Well, they build those in Indiana,
elevator.
so I mean, I just care. Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously not a normal elevator, but I mean, it could be a.
Anyway, the elevator opens and out steps an old man who is greeted into a swanky hallway by a chick with black hair, essentially.
Yeah, and that one condition where they have that strand of white in it. There's a name for that, but I don't remember what it is.
From here on out, we're going to call her Kurogami, because why wouldn't we? Because she has black hair.
Well, we could just call her the black-haired woman.
We
could call her by an actual name, but that would be mega spoilers. So
yeah, let's just call her Kurogami, because that's what she's called.
That's a bit much. That's a little too.
Yeah. So she guides the old man into essentially the swankiest bar in the world, and I
want to go to here so hard.
It's fantastic.
I do really like the slight, like, just character moment of the old man staying in the elevator so long that the doors start to close again and he has to stop them. That's a good touch to let you know about like how this character works and what he's thinking.
He needs to take things in first.
Yeah, it's just a short little thing. I like things like that, and that's what these short form animations can really give you, are like these just like little visual clues of how the characters work.
It's true,
because unlike especially after having just watched Death Parade, right? A lot of the long form animations, they rely a lot more on dialogue than the animation, but when you condense it to the short forms, a lot more they become a lot more like a movie. They're a lot more cinematic.
Yeah.
And that they impart a lot more information visually than through dialogue, which is usually the case.
It is more efficient that way. So I didn't notice this till just now, but the giant chandelier is...
Yeah, it's a jellyfish.
It's a giant jellyfish in this enormous atrium that this bar is attached to.
They have that jellyfish tank, so they have the jellyfish chandelier.
It's very jellyfish themed to this show.
I know.
So a very droll bartender welcomes the old man to the bar, introduces the bar as Queen Deckham.
Yep.
Which is interesting because it's Japanese. You could pronounce it Queen Deckham, or you could pronounce it Queen Deckium, which essentially means 15th. So it's essentially the 15th floor.
Oh, I guess it is because it is on the 15th floor. Yeah. Yep.
So.
Oh, it's in Latin then. Oh, there you go.
But the old man is invited to take a seat next to a gentleman who's already arrived. And I'd like to point out, because the camera sort of pans around the room on some little details, I really like just the art, like especially the background art.
Oh yeah, this is fantastic. The character designs are pretty good, but the two bartenders, the one woman with black hair that welcomes them to the bar, and the actual bartender themselves, very simplistic character designs with not a whole lot of detail in them. But the old man, and we're about to meet the second character here in a second, also have much more detailed character designs. But you can tell the love and the sort of the time and effort in the show really went more into the set piece of the bar than necessarily the character designs themselves, which I like.
The whole episode takes place in this very small stage.
Yeah, in this one location.
It's very no in that regard.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fair.
So they sit down and are invited to have some drinks. They also share a smoke, the two characters do, which is a little bonding moment, which I like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you also have the slight bonding moment of the old man sitting down just saying he'll have whatever the other man is drinking.
Yep.
So very sort of like, oh, let's get to know each other at this bar. We're both in this situation together, so.
Which is a very, I don't want to be too sexist here, but it's a very man thing to do. They just sort of...
It's kind of manly.
They share some very partial dialogue and then sit there together saying, well, essentially we're in whatever this is together, so here we are.
No. Without saying it.
Yeah.
Just by having drinks and sharing a smoke. A very male bonding way of sort of dealing with this weird situation.
But now that they're both here, the bartender asks them, do either of you know how you got here? Just out of curiosity.
We should probably describe the other man. He's much, much younger.
He's much younger. He's dressed in a suit, so he's more a businessman.
He has an ear cuff.
Oh, he does have an ear cuff.
Yeah, he's going to tell you how Bernie would have won. Surprised he doesn't have a man bun.
This was before man buns.
Nah, I know. Was it, though? Haven't man buns always been a thing? Especially for Japan, to be honest.
Those aren't man buns. Those are whatever they're called. Name is
Top knots.
Top knots, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's basically a man bun.
Sure.
It's basically a man bun.
They had man buns before they were cool.
I mean, that's very true.
So the young man is asked, why, do you know how you got here? And he's like, well, let me think. Last thing I knew, I got back to my girlfriend's apartment. Girlfriend met me. She embraced me. We fell back on the bed. And then everything goes hazy, and I don't remember anything after that.
Yeah. It's all super hot.
And then he asked the old man, so, old man, do you know how you got here?
I was enjoying beer and pickles on my back deck in my nice house with my wife.
It seems like a very nice place to be. I would like to be where he was at.
Yeah.
But
on the back porch. Yeah, he's drinking beer, eating pickles.
I'm not really sure about that particular combination, but,
Pickles are delicious in every context.
With beer? I mean, I am assured
especially
that watermelon
pickles.
and beer is also a fantastic combination.
Fried pickles and beer, I would definitely have in any opportunity.
That's true. That is true. Now I'm thinking about fried pickles.
I mean, who isn't thinking about fried pickles constantly? I mean, it's a pretty common thing to think about.
So anyway, we get back to the bar.
To the action.
To the thrilling action.
Well, Dekim has to, the bartender has to explain the rules of the situation that they have found themselves in.
There are several rules, and each one is punctuated by a kurogami highlighting which number it is, because that's
it's
apparently
very nice.
her job.
I like this. I like how they bring that into the series later, too.
Yeah. So, can you tell us the rules?
Rule 1, the bartender cannot tell you where this place is at all. So, that's nice.
Yep.
That's real helpful. That's a good rule. Second, both of these two men will soon have to play a game.
That sounds not too bad.
Third, the game will be decided by roulette. So,
which
luck
game
of the draw.
they play will be chosen by roulette.
Yeah, in theory. Yep. The game they play will be decided by luck of the draw. Fourth, you will bet your own destruction.
Essentially, yes.
Which is all I wanted to say because Akagi. This is Washizu no Geimu.
I mean, come to think of it, cutting ahead just a little bit, the balls they end up playing with in billiards are clear.
No,
so
it's true. Yeah, see? It all comes together. Yeah, when they explain the third rule, the roulette board comes down, and it's not like a traditional roulette. It's like a 9x9 grid that's going to have lights on it, and they produce a button that they'll press, and that will start the thing a-going.
Yep. To be clear, you will risk your lives on the game.
Yes, the game, yeah, your lives will be in the balance in some regard. Fifth, you will not be able to leave until the game is over. So, yes. That sucks. The young man, throughout all of these rules being described, is incredulous at each and every one of them. He's not very happy, where the Oji-san sort of takes them in stride.
And especially after the last one, when he's told that he cannot leave until there's a winner, he becomes super annoyed and starts running here and there to every exit he can conceive of, trying to, test whether or not this is indeed the case.
Yes. The young man does this, by the way, not the older gentleman. He tries the elevators. He tries the big doors in the back. No avail. He does find the bathroom.
That's good.
Nice. I'm glad this place has a bathroom.
And he also
he even goes up to bug the pianist.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, pianist, can you help?" Oh, wait, you can't because you are a marionette mannequin, which is really weird. Really weird.
You mean a dummy? She's a dummy.
I think you mean Ningyou.
I do mean Ningyou. That's my point.
But yes,
she's MD 952.
Meanwhile, the old man is still sitting at the bar,
eating his pickles.
He's like, we're here.
Not eating pickles.
Seems like we're trapped. He does ask some very important questions, like, so what happens if we win?
He asks what happens if we lose, and he's like, oh, the only thing I can tell you is that you will risk your lives. So, that's all I'm going to say. But what happens if we win? Can't tell you that either.
And the young man thinks for a second and is like, okay, how about this? What if I just refuse to play your stupid game? He's like,
he would not. But the bartender does not recommend you doing this.
And he opens the back of the bar, and it's just a bunch of hanged bodies hanging from the ceiling in the back, which is super creepy.
Now, without further knowledge of the show at the point in which I watched this, I too also thought that they were hanged mannequins. That's what they looked like to me. But the characters in the show assume that they are corpses.
Yes. When I first viewed this episode, I actually thought they were bodies. I wasn't included until later what they were.
No, I watching it the very first time, I was like, oh, those look like hanged marionettes because of the one at the
piano.
The one at the piano. Yeah. My mind was already in that space.
So they're given.
And then without further ado, the old man just jams the button.
He's like,
all right, going. Fair enough then. I guess this is what we're doing.
I mean, he figures, we're stuck here. There's clearly no escape. We're at their whim. Might as well play along. See what happens.
Might as well play the game if that's what we're doing here. The young man is pretty upset about it, but the old guy's like, what are we going to do?
So the roulette wheel, for lack of a better term, spins, and it lands on, surprise, surprise, billiards. Otherwise, why would this not be called?
Technically, Despudu.
No, it's billiards, but for some reason they translate it as pool because apparently, even though it's named Death Billiards, and it's an English word, we can't be bothered to actually call it billiards.
Shut up, you. Well, look, that's too English.
Thanks, translators. Thanks a lot.
Poodoo.
Anyway, the entire atrium explodes in a fantastic display.
I know, right? I love this.
and a billiards table rises from beneath the floor.
With lots and lots of spinning camera shots.
It's great. I love it.
They are playing 8-ball, not 9-ball, which is only mildly important because of the death parade that comes later in which 9-ball is played.
Are you making a sir no joke
about that? Huh? No.
You should be making a sir no joke. I'll make the sir no joke. They play 9-ball. Someone gets frozen and someone else is a baka at the end.
Okay, there you go. The spring didn't spring, so they fight. Sure.
That's normally how it goes. So it's a game of billiards with a twist because...
Not really.
Well, all the balls are clear, and except for the 8-ball, which has an infinity symbol in it, they are colored red and blue, and each set of colors has a organ depicted inside of it.
Yeah, inscribed. And those images are linked to the actual player's organs in their description, type, size, and whether or not it's beating or moving, though it is assured by the bartender that this has literally nothing to do with the game itself. Even if the heart ball were to be pocketed, your heart will not stop. It's just to enhance the experience.
Yes, because they need more experience enhanced.
I mean, yeah.
That's how they do.
While they are pictorially depicted, they have no bearing whatsoever on your parts of your body.
So yeah, the young man chooses to go first, so he breaks the rack, and the game of death billiards commences. Too much suspense and ambiance. Also, I do really like how it's not so much pronounced on the two, quote, main characters of the young and old man, but especially on the bartender and his assistant Kurogami. Their jawlines are set really low, and it gives them this very almost otherworldly and macabre-esque
Yes,
feel,
they do look very macabre.
without being like really obvious about it.
Yeah, they're a little macabre, a little Heimlich, but nothing like crazy.
Yeah.
Have we gotten a good look at their eyes yet?
Not
so.
really. We will a little bit later, but there is something off about the bartender's eyes. So we get back from the title card, because up until now we haven't had one, and the game is afoot, and the two characters exchange some information about one another. So the young man is all pretty much being cocky. He's pocketing balls left and right, and he's talking about how he used to play every single day in college.
Pocketing balls.
There's a lot of ball jokes to be made, to be honest.
I took pool in college.
Basically to impress this one chick. And
I did not do it for that reason.
Who didn't?
I didn't.
Well,
I just said I did pool in college too.
did you?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I took a class.
Huh.
Yeah, I took it in bowling. As such, I'm decent at both.
Huh. Typical IU student.
I mean, you have to get your PE credit in somehow. What do you want from me?
Fair enough.
What else was I going to take? Something that made me sweat? Ew, gross.
I didn't even know you had a PE requirement.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, well, what do you do?
This particular guy, who apparently did the same thing, except he did it to impress a chick. And he explains that he's actually still with her, and they just had a fight, and he really needs to get home and apologize to her. So he is not going to hold back against this old man.
To which the old man says, of course, naruhodo.
Like, all right.
All right. Seems reasonable.
Okay.
I understand. Of course.
I like this little touch, though, because the young man, he sinks, I think, like three or four balls. Yep. He's getting pretty cocky, but then he misses. And, of course, turn changes. And he looks at the old man as he goes to get a drink. And the old man's hand is shaking. And he's like, I got this in the bag, son. But then the old man steadies up.
Oh, yeah. He's legit.
And he just pockets the stomach ball. Just
well, what I like about this too is that for this entire up until now, the old man's eyes have been half lidded.
Yes.
And basically closed this entire time, as per the animation parlance of half lidded eyes. But right before he takes his shot, he opens his eyes just a little to see what's up, and then he sinks it like a champ.
Yeah. Like a champ.
On a wicked angle all the way across the table.
And the young man,
kid's like,
just hearing the ball drop, is like, wait.
You got it. You got some finesse. You're not too bad.
Whoa. He's like, have you done this before?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And when the stomach ball is pocketed, the young man notices that his tummy doesn't feel all that great.
Yeah.
come to think of it.
Which is weird because the bartender said these weren't linked at all. So maybe it's just a weird thing.
And then in one strike of the cue, the old man pockets both the hands and the eye. And
in a pretty sick shot, to be honest.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, it is.
Because it bounces off one, it spins around a couple other ones and knocks the other one in.
He knows what's up.
And suddenly the young man's looking at his hands and they start going blurry.
Yeah.
He's like, what is going on? And then we get this really sick animation shot nice action shot of the old man just going in for, what is it, the mouth and the brain?
Yeah, just another twofer.
Yeah.
This makes the other guy feel nauseous.
Ear, my bad. Mouth and ear.
Yeah.
So basically all of his senses have been pocketed by the old man.
Yeah. And he just feels awkward and he starts thinking about, why should I trust this bartender to say that this wouldn't be the case? Also, I do love how he says the phrase, my balls, how many are left? So, there's that.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes me happy.
Base humor. We've got that going on here.
It's the lowest common denominator.
Oh my. So the old man then takes his turn to explain, I got my own thing to do.
Which is go back home and
eat my wife's pickles.
Eat pickles. Because he promised he would eat his wife's pickles before he died.
So screw you, kid.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I love pickles. My wife makes the best pickles. They go with beer, whiskey, anything. They even go good with more pickles. And speaking as somebody who's had Japanese quick pickles at some of the nice sushi restaurants around here, Japanese sweet quick pickles are legit the best.
I have not actually had any. I should find some.
Japanese quick pickles. Oh, they're so good.
What makes them different from normal pickles?
Well, I mean, not a whole lot. I mean, it's still vinegar and stuff, but they pickle different things. It tends to be a mix between like some quick cucumber pickles and carrot pickles and daikon pickles. So it's kind of like a light pickle salad. And usually it's just it's usually sake vinegar, right? And some sugar. And they're just really good. Because you just pickle them for like 10, 15 minutes and they're like crisp and cold. Oh, they're so good.
I feel like we need to stop and go eat pickles.
Japanese quick pickles are so good. Next time you're at one of the more authentic Japanese restaurants in the area, see if they have the quick pickles on their menu and just get them. Because
they've got some in the back.
Because I've been to like Shiro's here in... not Shiro's, but one of his assistants.
Oh, anyway, before my mouth waters anymore. So
good.
I do like there's a little scene where the guy's starting to freak out a lot and the camera sort of pans around the room and you notice that there are all these balconies up above in the atrium, which are also filled with nothing but mannequins.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Really creepy place. And it gets creepier by the minute.
This is where the old man opens his eyes a little bit and stares down the kid and he's like, I'm not going to hold back either. And he lines up a sweet shot where he jumps the cue over two of his own balls to knock in one of the young man's balls. Almost, at least. He makes firm contact, but
he misses.
But he misses
just as the young man did. So at this point...
With the young man shouting stop at him this whole time, because he's like, hey, dude, this is super unfair. Why would you do this to me?
So at this point, we start seeing some of the young man's actual tendencies. Because we get some of his inner monologue. And I believe his is the only inner monologue we get throughout the entire episode.
That is correct.
So
we get very little information about the old man.
Yeah, the young man keeps saying to himself that it's only natural that humans only care about themselves and nothing else matters. They lie their way through life. It may not be the best thing, but it's super legit. It's fine. But, why is he getting lied to now of all times? Because this is really serious. And he keeps remembering that he was told the ball images are just representations. But
they mean
yet
nothing.
He feels terrible.
Yeah.
In the places.
They're like the points in, nuts. There went my joke. They're like the points in, nope, lost it again. Whose line is it anyway? They don't matter.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, see? I kept wanting to say we didn't playtest this, which is a fun game, but...
Not what you're going for.
Nothing matters and we didn't playtest this.
Indeed. He also notes that even though he's pocketed several of the old man's billiard balls, nothing seems to have happened to him at all.
Yeah, he seems fine. He seems happy to ramble on about pickles.
So the young man lines up a new shot. And he thinks to himself, all right, so I could go for an easy sink of the mouth ball. But he figures that since he's clearly being lied to about the representations on the billiard balls,
He's going to try for the hard shot and go for the heart ball, trying to like give this guy a heart attack and murder him.
Basically. And he keeps justifying it to himself by saying, this is the only way.
Yeah,
this is the only way. Says the guy who was just going on about how unfair it was he's being lied to.
Yeah.
He's lying to himself. Because this is clearly the only way, even though he already has an easy shot.
Because when he was like super excited about, you know, beating up this old man because he used to play in college all the time, now it's like super unfair.
Yeah.
The other guy's like way better than him. That doesn't seem right.
I know, right?
I'll go for this heart ball.
So we do get some very nice like strat visuals here, along with a very pervasive heartbeat sound in the background, like that has been going on for quite some time. And you don't really notice how prevalent it's been until the music pauses when he takes this shot.
Yeah, because you see like the way the shot's going to have to go in order for it to sink the ball.
Yeah, we get some actual nice usage of 3D animation in anime, which is
what,
the way
you don't like Berserk?
I don't know anyone that does. Let's put it that way.
Come on. It looks, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. So well animated.
I mean, maybe if you're on LSD, it might look beautiful. Yes.
I mean, I'm sure.
But anyway, this guy, he takes a shot after all this strategizing and...
It almost works, but it barely misses, bounces off the rim of the pocket, and he is devastated.
It's really sad.
He falls to the table. Meanwhile, he notices that he just lined up the cue ball in such a way that's like right dead set in the middle so the old man can knock two of his in with one shot.
Yep.
And he's like, oh no, that can't be good.
Even though before he takes this shot, he notices that possibility happening. He says, if I miss this, I will lose.
Yeah, well, you know.
So he is taking a definite gamble here on hitting that heart shot.
His life matters more. He's only 30.
He's only 30.
He has so much more life to live. He don't want to die. And obviously, if he loses this game, he's going to die. That's how it works.
That's what he was told, right? Oh, wait, no.
Right?
That's not what he was told.
No. His life, he's baiting his own destruction here.
It's true.
And that can only mean one thing. That if he knocks a billiard ball in, he's going to lose a quart of blood or whatever absurd amount it was.
At least, if not more.
At least a liter, 5 liters.
So at this, because he has missed, the young man starts becoming like mentally unhinged. He's like, what am I doing? This is terrible. What have I done? And he starts begging the old man for his life. He's like, I'm only 30. I don't want to die. And the old man is basically like, well...
They never said you'd die if you lost.
That's unfortunate. And he seems to still be, pretty laid back about the whole thing. He's like, hey, they never said anything about that.
They never said we would actually die if we lost, just that we had a better life. So the young kid is like, what? Hey. And he runs over to the bartender. He's like, hey, tell me if I lose, I die. Like, what happens if I lose? Do I die or what?
Do I have to go in that creepy room with all the strung up bodies? He's like...
And the bartender just responds, please play with your life on the line.
Yeah. He's like, well, screw that. This isn't fair. It's obvious, really obvious that the old man is far better than I am. So why would you even put me up to this? I know I can't win. Don't you agree? And he's like, well, that's unfortunate for you, I guess.
Life's unfair, turns out.
And I think it's here that we get...
You see his weird eyes.
Yeah. We get a close-up on the bartender's eyes. And while he does have blue eyes, he has this weird cross shape in the middle of his iris.
Yeah, his iris is cross-shaped is basically what it is. Well, I guess maybe. Yeah, no, it is in his iris there's a cross shape.
Yeah. And with the poor dude falling backwards, not believing what he's hearing, the old man just is like, well, sorry, dude.
Sinks him. Sorry about this, but come what may, and it sinks both the balls in one shot.
Like a champ.
Like a boss.
But at this, the young man is like, well...
If I'm gonna die, I would much rather have a flashback.
So we get a flashback.
To me being caught cheating on the girl I tried to impress.
Yeah, basically we get the same room as the opening shot, except it's him, the girl, and another girl who's fleeing the bed.
Yep.
And
we run backwards through this guy's life, like him doing pool to like
being a little carefree kid to actually, being a little kid to him suckling at his mom. Like it goes all the way back. And I actually kind of like this because what we get is this like reverse timeline of this guy's life.
Yeah, again, all visually done.
And it goes really from like him being a terrible person in the present and then a while back, and then a while back, and then, you know, the further back it gets, the more innocent he is. And then we immediately smash cut to this guy grabbing a cue and just going to town on this old man.
Yeah, well, the old man's not having any of it. Turns out he is not an idiot and knows how to defend himself.
Yep.
I want an anime just about this old man's past, because this guy's awesome.
Yeah, we don't get much of it, but it's pretty amazing. It's like, what did he do in a previous life?
You even see him smiling, like, through the fight, being like, yeah, this is good. I like this.
But the best part, or the most jarring part, is during this fight, like, the young man is just sort of wailing, and the old man's juking and moving around. And then he catches the young man with the point of his cue in his mouth and just
and slams him to the ground. Oof.
That is gonna hurt. And
then we get a flashback of the old man's life,
which is told
surviving
from the other way around.
Yeah, I liked that, where they're in opposite directions.
So in this one, we get him as a very, very young kid witnessing the firebombing of Tokyo.
Firebombing.
So yeah, presumably.
And we try not to worry about that too much.
And then he grows up. He does kendo. He turns out to be a konogaki. Because he's kind of a jerk.
Not done the best things. And he used to play Nineball and was a champion and was great at it. Got married.
And then had a wife. Nice life. Yeah. Nice, peaceful life.
Had his beer and his pickles.
And those little pickles. And then we come back to the present, where the young man basically takes out his glasses. And then probably the most impressive shot, even though pinning the kid to the ground was pretty amazing.
The old man grabbing the pull cue and then breaking it with a judo thrust.
Yes, it is awesome. He just trashes this cue,
snaps that thing. The young man does not take politely to this, and then body slams the older man into this giant tank of jellyfish, shattering it and popping out the old man's dentures. To which the black-haired woman is like, "Oh, come on."
I really like that reaction. Because you sort of assume she's not like it's going to be like, "Oh, no, what have they done?" But it's more like,
come on.
Really?
We got to clean that up. Because this entire time, the two bartenders are very dispassionate about all these goings-ons.
Yeah, they're just standing there. But as he sort of comes to himself, the young man looks up and notices the old man laying on his back prone. And is suddenly very remorseful.
It's like, wait. It's like, nope.
Oh, no.
I didn't mean to kill him. It's like, but you sort of totally did.
Well, he didn't have a choice, you see.
I mean, that's true. He never had a choice.
He never had a choice. This is all beyond him. Nothing was his fault. And he starts to, like, just completely break mentally. But he pulls it together a little bit. And it's like, it's all over. It's all over. And the bartender helpfully reminds him,
it's not over. Game's not over yet. Yeah.
I never forbid violence, so please continue.
Please continue, please. If you want to win this, you still can. Just go knock some balls around.
Yeah, it's whoever.
It'd be nice.
It's whoever pockets the 8-ball wins, not whoever's not dead at the end wins. That's not how this works. So the young man sort of reluctantly ?
In a fugue state. Let's go that far. I think saying reluctantly is putting a little too much on him, but I think in a fugue state finishes the.
That's fair.
Finishes the game because he's like, I killed him. You can't have me like keep doing that and like what? It's like no, you got to pocket the 8-ball. Like I mean, come on.
I mean, why else are we here?
We live in a society. We live in a society that has rules.
Even if that society is made up almost entirely of mannequins. He goes ahead. The young man does and pockets all the remaining balls. The last one being the heart ball, which is beating.
It's still beating. You know, I never noticed that.
Yeah,
still is.
But he pockets it anyway, and then he pockets the 8-ball.
Continuing to tell him that, you know, telling himself that this isn't my fault.
Yeah. And then, you know, it's congratulations.
Patch.
You are the winner.
You did it. You won.
You've done it. Yay.
And now that the game's over, I can tell you what the deal is.
As
you both
the
can
old
come
man
over here.
stands
and
up.
The young kid's like, both? What do you mean both? And the old man's just like, no, thanks. He comes up, and the first thing the old man does is that he thanks the young kid for being like, thanks, it was fun to play pool after all these years.
Which makes you wonder if this was how he played pool back in his youth.
Yeah.
Like some brawls. And we get some information about the old man, which is, he says that after you hit me, I realized that I've really enjoyed playing this because for the last couple of years, I'd been a vegetable for quite some time before I died. He's like, wait, what?
Wait, what? It's like, dude, we're probably both already dead. And then we get a flashback of the young man, and that warm embrace he was having was more getting stabbed in the gut by the girlfriend he cheated on. And he's like, wait, what? And he reaches into his own coat pocket and is like, that's why my stomach hurt. That can't be good.
That's why I felt weird. Oh.
Because I had been stabbed to death.
Turns out it was a warm embrace of death.
Yeah.
And as you said,
we
penetration.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Yee.
It's a good joke.
It's a good joke.
Ooh.
I appreciate it. So it turns out, as the bartender explains, that in general, humans, when they die, either go to heaven or they go to hell. And this place...
Let's fight.
But this place is for sorting out essentially edge cases of people who may be not quite on one side or the other and who both died at the same time.
Yeah, you guys can come in here and you play a game, and then we decide who goes to heaven and who goes to hell. Let's fight.
Yeah. And what I really like about this is while they're explaining it, they sort of cut back to the elevator. And you'll notice, which was at the beginning of the episode, but wasn't really like pointed out. But above each elevator, one has an Oni mask and the other has a No mask. Now, whether those are heaven or hell, who's to say?
Well, I think it's pretty clear later, but right now, who can say?
Who can say?
The bartender, after explaining this, says that he's the arbiter. He gets to decide what happens, and he bows and says, "I'm sorry I didn't tell you any of this earlier." So, dims the rules, dims the breaks.
But essentially, you've been sent here to be labeled as to which one you're going to. And the young man's like, okay, well then, which is it? We've gone through all this. Which one are we going to? And he's like, can't answer that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's after you get in the elevator. So,
The young man is pretty inconsolable. And he's like, you already knew.
He's not happy about this.
Yeah, you already knew everything that was going to happen here, didn't you? This was all predetermined. And he's like, well, sort of. I mean, to be fair, the roulette wheel was rigged. We knew you were going to play pool. True. And if all had gone according to plan, the old man would have won. But you changed fate. All by yourself.
Yeah, you played the game. You beat him up. And because the young man does rush at the bartender, but marionette strings grab him right before he's able to throttle our stalwart bartender for him to get a good lecture to. And
it's while he's being dragged towards the elevator and screaming for his life and begging for mercy, don't send me to hell, etc. The old man and the bartender have some words. Although what those words are, we don't know.
Yep.
It's silent. But Kurogami notices that words are being had.
Words exchanged. It's like you'll get to understand who gets to go to heaven and who gets to hell after you go in the elevator. So have fun.
Yep. So to the elevator you go.
The young man, of course, is screaming that he doesn't want to go to hell because that's obviously what's going to happen.
And he's like, why is this even happening? Why are you doing this to me? I've already accepted death. Stop lying to me. Says the guy who's lying to himself and not accepting his death.
I know, right?
He goes on this real long tirade about... It essentially boils down to society is at fault for everything not being equal. It's like this old man is better at pool than me because he happened to meet different people than I did, and so he's better, and that's not fair. And yeah, society's to blame for all of my faults, essentially.
Yep. Everybody's lives are unequal from the beginning, so you don't need to remind me of that. That's just how it is.
Yeah. But he does say one thing that gets the bartender's attention.
Yes. He says that you can't possibly understand us because it's not like you guys are alive. So how could you ever possibly understand?
And the bartender walks over to him and actually cradles him and comforts him a bit and removes the strings. He's like, well, that's fair. We're not actually alive. You are correct. I apologize for that.
But, I get where you're coming from. And at least you can rest now, however it is you're going to.
At this, the young man is pretty much just had enough.
He just
completely breaks.
Balls into the bartender's shoulder.
Sobbing uncontrollably. So with this, both the young man and the old man get into their respective elevators. Now, this is probably the most interesting part, at least as far as debate for the episode. Because...
Yes, very much so.
As I mentioned, there's an Oni mask and a No mask. And the old man and the young man are put under the Oni and Noh, respectively. Now, the question is, and maybe we can discuss this afterwards. The question is,
Sure.
Which one goes where?
That's an excellent question. I think, well, we'll discuss that after the episode's over because it's like got a second and a half.
So yeah, the young man looks very broken and very sad and basically has nothing left to give.
And the old man is fairly content.
And grins.
Or at least at peace.
Pretty mischievously as the doors close. And with that, the light
go
moves.
Off to the respective donations.
And off they go.
As the credits roll, they're cleaning up the bar and the bartender and the woman with black hair discussing things. And she's like, so he talked to you at the inn there.
What'd he say? And he does say that it's a secret, but he uses the word himitsu. And so now I can't get this image out of my head of him like putting a finger up to his mouth and doing the cute girl thing.
The cute himitsu thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she's like, okay, fine. Well, where did they go then? If you're not gonna tell me that, also a secret. Can't tell you.
Can't tell you that either.
Sorry.
She is unsatisfied by these responses.
Of course.
But new guests show up just as she's about ready to pry further.
And the bartender pulls something out of the bar, which are the 2 heart balls from the previous game, and both hearts are now perfectly still.
Oh yeah, so they are. Interesting.
The end.
As he welcomes the new guests. Oh, what a good show.
It is a good show. I love this one episode little thing.
Yeah, it's really good. So, do you want to get into like where they went?
Where
Heaven or hell,
do you
let's
think
fight?
they went?
Well, here's the interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
Because first thing you have to know is like after this, this show gets greenlit for a full season, 12 episodes, a half season, I guess, in which the world is explored more. And in the show, you have clear answers as to where people go because the no mask always means heaven in loose terms, and the Oni mask always means hell. But this is like a proof of concept show that probably didn't take that into account at the time.
It's
so
true.
that may not have been a convention yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So yeah, Death Parade, which is the series you mentioned, it does flesh out the series, but it also retcons several things from this
a couple of
episode. In this particular episode, you don't know. It's not left clear.
Yes, you
in
have
Death
no
Parade,
conventions to go on, so you don't know.
Right. In Death Parade, the light even moves up and down, so you can see which direction they go. But in this one, it just sort of sparkles, and you're not really sure. And the weird thing is the old man never really showed any intention of being like deserving of hell. So the question is like, did he actually go and we just didn't know what he did during his life because we were only shown little snippets?
I mean, and the question is what's the purpose of the game? Because I even asked myself before even seeing Death Parade, like, does the outcome of the game even matter, or is it their attitudes about the game that matter? Right.
Right. Because they're on a knife's edge, right?
Question.
That's why they were brought here. And if everything goes according to plan, then who knows? But
this person might win the game, but does that mean anything?
Right.
Does the winner of the game matter, or does just the outcomes of the social situation matter?
I would personally believe, and I believe this before the show was announced, that I think it's the outcome of the social situation, not necessarily the game. Like, how do people handle the game?
That was my read as well.
And so even during that, I mean, there's no real evidence that the old man deserves to go to hell. But on the other hand, I mean, it's pretty obvious that the show wants you to think that the young man deserves to go to hell.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
But the old man, he was shown basically being a Konagaki and being kind of a jerk in his youth. And he's very good at fighting. And
he does say something.
He does.
And he also is very happy that the young man gave him this like good time.
Yeah, which meant that he used
a good
to
rough and tumble time.
like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't repent for stuff in his youth.
Where this young man at least seems somewhat repentant about everything that he's done, even if he keeps making excuses.
Even if he's very
it.
confused about himself.
Exactly.
So maybe the show's trying to say that being confused about your state is somewhat better than being calm, cool, and collected, but being keenly aware of how bad you are, which maybe the old man is. I don't know.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to know because it's also hard to know if the masks actually like if the symbolism of the masks matter, or maybe it could also be that the game is exactly that. Like the winner of the game gets to go to heaven and the loser has to go to hell no matter what. It leaves it a lot more up in the air, which is interesting because it gives you something to actually like discuss and think about rather than it just like giving you all the answers.
Yes, and I think that was probably the best selling point of this episode and why it got greenlit for a season, or at least a half season.
Now the season is a little more explicit in its answers, but it's still like very well, except for one, probably the most controversial case. You never know where the people go.
Yeah,
and that's the if you want to know which episodes we're talking about the two-parter episode of the series, because that's probably the only one where you don't get to know the final destination of the two people, and that's one where it's like very good arguments both ways for both of these people, and it's very interesting. And you don't get to know the outcome of that one,
which sort of harkens back to this one.
Yeah, where it's like two like very interesting situations,
and I think that sort of lends itself to sticking in people's minds a lot longer than just a clean cut. That was a nice experience. Here's the ending. The end.
Well, yeah, because you have to chew over it.
You have to sit there and think,
think
which one was it?
Or even like, what's the show saying in general?
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of
situation forward.
There's a lot of like Buddhist themes in this particular episode that are actually explored more in depth in the series.
Very much in the show. Because it is very much more, it is definitely going off of a Japanese understanding of heaven and hell rather than a Western one.
Right.
It has far more in line to do with Buddhist afterlife and Buddhist mythology than it does Western.
Yeah.
So the first thing you have to do about like approaching the show is understanding that it's coming at things from a non-Western point of view.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I feel like it retconned, and I'm not sure whether it's good or bad. Doesn't really matter in the end.
Or whether or not it quote unquote retconned it, or it just presupposed a understanding.
Yeah, because in this one, it's heaven or hell fight.
Yep.
But in the series, it's you go to hell or you're reincarnated. Those are the two options.
But they also don't say the English words heaven or hell. And to be fair, in the most prevalent form of Buddhism in Japan, it is very split between a heavenly Pure Land form of heaven and a hellish worlds.
Yeah.
So it's a little more.
So you either have Jigoku,
the prevalent
or
form of Buddhism
Land.
in Japan is a little more Western in its view of heaven and hell than strict, well, quote strict, than a more broad Buddhist view.
Yeah.
Religion in Japan is complicated.
It is really complicated.
But yeah.
But overall, what did you think of this particular episode?
I mean, it was good enough that right after I watched it, I mainlined the series. So yeah, I mean, it's really good.
Yeah. One thing I would say about the series, I have a friend who just adores the thing. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm not sure that in the same way that Little Witch Academia, when it got into the series, it lost some of that magic that the like one condensed episode had. And that goes back to what you were saying about, when they have room, they use dialogue, but when they don't, they use more visual storytelling.
Yeah, so it just sort of depends. I mean, the show's still good. It does a lot of world building, and sometimes that's nice.
It is nice, but they don't really, I mean, spoilers a little bit for the show, but they don't really tie all that up at the end.
Yeah, no. But I do like how it avoids I know you like it, but it avoids the Jikoku Shoujo problem of it where it just shows you the same thing over and over again.
Yes, it does. But I think that...
And there's only so many times they could show you a morally ambiguous situation of two people being mean to each other in a death game before it's like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
And
I think
they
it
solve
avoids
that
those
basically
problems
by saying,
definitely.
okay, we got 12 episodes to work with. If you want to have story, you need to minimize the games pretty quick. Or if you do have the games, they need to be pretty amazing.
About 6 episodes of the show are the games, and 6 episodes of the show are
world building, essentially.
Story about the bartenders and the world of this afterlife limbo. Yeah. But it's not like 6 one, 6 the other. They're interspliced, obviously.
Right.
But yeah.
And some episodes are both.
But yeah, it's really good show.
It's only 12 episodes. If you need no other reason, I'm going to link the op in the description for this episode. Awesome. And if nothing else convinces you, that should definitely convince you to go watch that show.
Yeah, that op is sweet. Mostly because it helps offset how heavy the show is. Because the show's heavy. I mean, there's still humorous parts and and lots of macabre humor. But I mean, its ending is definitely I'm not crying, you're crying sort of deal.
Yes.
It almost got me. It still didn't get me as close as Anohana. The ending of Anohana almost got me, but
I think that gets most people.
It came as close as something can get. Oh, don't watch the show. There's lots of suicide in it, so do watch out for that. That's probably.
Are you giving that as a trigger warning?
That you're not. Well, yeah. I don't mind it in some things. I think this is the time where the concept of trigger warnings is actually a good idea. Kind of like horror stories, because I know like No Sleep does trigger warnings for that, and it's like, see, in a horror situation, I find that acceptable.
That's fair.
You're not reading classic literature. You're here to have like scary and disturbing and like violent stories told to you. And if you don't like this type of violence, it's nice to know ahead of time that that's what the story is going to be, so you can avoid it if you want, because you're reading it you're enjoying it for entertainment purposes. Like, I don't like horror movies that are torture porn, so anytime that's mentioned, I'm like, yeah, no, I just don't want to deal with that. Thank you for telling me beforehand, so I didn't waste half of this time. I can now just skip this story.
So I have decided, I think, that if I ever win the lottery, I'm going to add a new thing to things I want to do.
Okay.
The normal thing is I want to put Usagi is Dead into existence as a show. But now the second thing is I want to build a bar like this one.
That's that bar. It's either that or the bar from Bartender, which is a really good bar too. That would also be nice
because I love that aesthetic.
That's Eden. What's the name of that bar? Eden something?
I think it's just Eden, isn't it?
Maybe. I thought it was Eden something, but maybe you're
Eden Hall.
Eden Hall. Okay. Where they mangle the etymology of bartender, but they make it work.
Yeah. Well, his job is to make your life better.
Well, exactly. So I mean, it works for the purpose of the explanation he's trying to do.
Indeed.
I mean, his etymology is not wrong. It's just wrong.
Yeah, Bartender is a show that I don't know that I would recommend it to people. It's a good show, but it's in line with like Aria and was it Mushishi?
Mushishi has more of a plot than Bartender, absolutely, but it's in that same vein.
Atmospheric.
If there is a spectrum of these slicey shows where it's very episodic
and very character driven,
and if you want to know how many things happen in an episode, Mushishi's on the lots of things happen versus Aria, where there is on the other end with nothing ever happens.
Well, see, that's the thing is Mushishi, he goes places and some things happen. Aria, they go places but nothing happens. And Bartender, they stay in one place and nothing happens. Action wise.
I mean, action wise.
Like I said,
people's
it's very
lives are
character
changed.
driven. It's all character stories.
And they put a lot of animation. They put a lot of their minimal animation budget into making his hair move when he shakes the.
Well, I mean, there's not a whole lot else to animate.
I know it has like no budget. It's not the most beautiful show, but I mean, it's good.
But yeah, if you need some relaxing or just to feel good, it's a pretty good show.
So what are we gonna watch next week?
That's a good question. What are we gonna watch for next week?
Now I have no idea.
We could watch Spider Girl.
I guess we should watch Spider Girl.
Hooray, Spider Girl!
Let's watch Spider Girl. That's the second one, right?
Yes.
The third one. Yeah. I guess we should watch that. I guess I'll have to watch that on YouTube again.
Yeah, I will link the show we're going to watch next time in the show description because I probably can't pronounce it correctly. Wasurenagumo.
Forgotten Spider?
That's right. Sounds right.
Yeah, because it's a adjective. Yeah. It's literally Forgotten Spider. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Poor little Spider Girl.
And then we can watch Cat Soup next.
Oh, yes. I would love to watch Cat Soup.
So let's do...
Have you seen Cat Soup?
Wasurenagumo. No, I've not seen Cat Soup.
Okay, well, that'll be an interesting time. All right, so next week, Forgotten Spider Girl. See you next time.
Well, there's no girl in it. It just says Forgotten Spider.
Shut up. Spider Girl.
This is the Ningyou problem all over again.
You'll see.
You're just making up translations.
That's what I do. All right, see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us to leave comments or suggest future silly topics, you can contact us on Facebook or Twitter at Aniki Podcast. Or if you'd like to know more about the show and hear past episodes, check out our website at aniki.fm. See you next time on Aniki.